All right, I think we're live. What's going on, man? Welcome back to the basement. We have the stock exchange in its entirety today. We got Bush, Danny. We're doing a nice little rookie mock draft here. Super flex, tight end premium. We're going to get some of the guys in chat involved. We're going to put the link down there in a second. We have, the three of us already in here. How are we doing, fellas, while I get this link together?
Yeah, no, we're doing well, brother. Obviously, if you guys just came over from our channel, we did a Dynasty startup mock, tackling some rookie mocks. This is Dynasty season, man. Obviously, we rolled up the sleeves. We did all the redraft work. I think I say this in every single video this offseason, but we did all the redraft work. Now we can just sit back, top some prospects, talk some ball, and, just chill and enjoy.
Yeah, it's
that time of the year, baby.
Yeah, get to watch the mid pack of running back tape that we got this year for sure.
I was getting heat on Twitter for calling it mid pack. I mean,
it's not mid pack. There's a lot of talented backs in the class. There's like maybe 1.5 guys that are actually huge fantasy contributors in the future.
The issue I have is I love Scott Connor. I think he's one of the sharpest dudes out there, and he's right that this is a really, really deep class. Your seconds and thirds are probably as valuable as they'll ever be in this class because you have like 8 running backs that are pretty sweet. You got a bunch of running backs. I mean, I think Darnell Washington's even pretty interesting. The other maybe Musgrave's his name. I haven't even looked at the tight ends yet. But we all spent, or not spent, but the value, the cost of holding on to these 2023 firsts has been massive the last 2 years. Like if these have been gold, these have been, the like golden goose of dynasty leagues. And now it feels like the firsts, like they're not what they used to be. You know what I mean? Like if you go out there and try and sell your 110 for what a projected late first could have sold for last offseason, like it's probably much less, which is the thing that bothers me about the class is there isn't, this like super high end, top end talent to really get excited for outside of Bijan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, adding to that, the reason why is because we kind of went, last offseason with the projection that, the top quarterbacks, as good as they are, don't get me wrong, there's some, Stroud and Young in particular were the guys that got a lot of steam last year. As good as they are, like
Bush with 101.
God, I got the 105. As good as they are, man, like you see the flaws in their game now, and we expect, maybe a Tank Bigsby would get up. If not Bijan, he would at least be in the Gibbs tier. Zach Evans, Sean Tucker, a lot of these guys that we expected to be up there. And then not to mention even at wide receiver, JSN's been hurt. Butte is, catching some Butte, if you know what I mean. A lot of stuff going on there in terms of really guys not getting that top level ceiling that we kind of projected into their range of outcomes. So as a result, we kind of have a murkier look on the class.
100%. Well, I also disrespecting.
I still think the top 3 picks are valuable for what it's worth.
I agree. Early firsts are still early firsts.
Early firsts are still early firsts. And I think it was like October or so. I kind of did a video called like what you need to know about rookie picks in 2023. Maybe it was like November. And I said the 109 to 112 range is significantly less value than we anticipated back in 2020 and 2021. When we were first talking about this class, because we were all rattling off the names. And it's interesting that you talked about like JSN and all these guys. Michael Mayer hasn't disappointed anybody. Like, I don't know why everybody's off of Michael Mayer. Like, he was part of this class has Bijan, and this class has Michael Mayer, and this class, like, Michael Mayer is still great. I'm kind of surprised he's like, he'll go like mid 2, so, like half the time.
It's going to be funny, man, because I haven't made my tight end prospect model, but I'm going to like in this next month. And then like Michael Mayer is going to blow my socks off production wise. And I'm just gonna be like, all right, I'm down at 110. Like, give me him all day. But yeah, Michael Mayer is somebody that's very interesting, but I don't know. I guess it's just like the athleticism. I think at 111, I know we're talking about him. I might just go Mayer here.
Yeah, that's a solid pick. Honestly, I think, him, Sharbs, you make the argument with Butte, Downs, maybe even a guy like Zay Flowers, a couple of those other, tier 3 caliber running backs. A lot of them kind of, figuring into this late first to mid-second area.
Yeah, and the thing about Evans and all these guys, like we're doing a rookie mock draft this far out. Like these guys have projections where they could go. Like I think like a guy like Zach Evans. I like Zach Evans. I like Sean Tucker. I like Tank Bigsby. But I think Kendre Miller too. I think all of these guys you can say you could probably slot them in anywhere from like the 2nd round to like the 6th round. Like I think like 2 of those guys probably go day 3. We hate to say it, but like you're sort of like
more than 2.
Oh, yeah, you're sort of really rolling the dice with like, a late first. If you're like, let's say I actually had somebody in Discord yesterday say that he already had a rookie draft come up, and I didn't slight him for it. He was kind of upset about it. He took Kayshon Boutte over like Zach Evans, Sean Tucker. And it's like, I mean,
I would.
Boutte is probably a locked in top 50 pick right now, right? Like this far out, like has a decent production profile. I mean, I hate to pick
well.
I hate to pick scared, but like this far out, like there is a lot more depends on who you're looking at, but there is a lot more insulation with some of these guys. And the running backs feel like it has the like furthest range just because of I guess how the NFL sort of values them.
Oh, I just got sniped back to back to back to back. Yeah, if we're looking here, like I agree. Like a lot of these running backs kind of feel like, pretty flat. Tucker, Bigsby, Miller.
I will say though, them at 205 though is pretty nice.
Really solid, especially in comparison to the receiver. So I do think running back has to be the pick. I'm just gonna plug my nose in this theoretical mock and hope Sean Tucker gets day 2 draft capital, to be honest. That's my best bet.
If he does, I would take him at 201. But the issue is I'm almost willing to bet somebody that, let's say if we knew crystal ball right now, 5 running backs go in the first 2 rounds of the draft.
Tajay Spears and Roschon Johnson.
Somebody that like Roschon Johnson and Tajay Spears are 2 of them.
And exact 2
Sean
names
Tucker, Zach Evans, those type of guys like are 6th round picks. Like that's to me what the feedback that we're getting from NFL teams and all these mock drafts that we're doing, which is weird for us in Dynasty because we've been talking about these guys for like 2+ years. And then now we're hearing, NFL teams don't even value them as like 3rd, 4th rounders. That's going to be the most interesting part of the combine to me. Cause like maybe the reason we're hearing stuff like that now is because it's Senior Bowl week and, we have like, the hypes around those players. Maybe once we get to the combine, Tuckers and Millers and all these guys start testing well. And then we start hearing the buzz for the actual, guys that we expected to be the day 2 running backs going back up in that area.
Get sniped on Jalen Hyatt there, Ronnie.
I would have loved Jalen Hyatt late second, dude. I would have loved it.
Yeah. Now you're at an interesting point. Because, I mean,
Eric Gray.
Dude, if I didn't take Mayer, dude, Darnell Washington's very interesting at 211.
A mock draft for a reason. You may as well.
Robust tight end.
Robust tight end, baby. This is like if you're rocking the Jake Ferguson, fucking Kate Otten build, and you're just like, fuck it, let's add some more dart throws and hope for the best.
We gotta, dude. I'm picking at the 111 here. I get all the just dumpster change here.
To me, in this area of the draft, you kind of made reference to it. I'm probably only taking running backs in this area of the draft because the wide receiver class is a kiddie pool level of shallow.
Oh, give me Tajay Spears. I didn't.
Yeah, dude, that's what I mean. Like,
there's
Tajay Spears. There's Roschon, who we expect to probably get like top 75 draft capital based on his Senior Bowl buzz. I mean, Deuce Vaughn, he's undersized, but he's a good player. Chase Brown,
Future
probably
Cowboy.
Another prototype, like 3rd, 4th round running back. Kenny McIntosh went to Georgia, probably get picked in the 3rd round because of it. Dwayne McBride, low key, one of the better pure runners in the class. And Eric
Noah loves Dwayne McBride.
Kenny McIntosh.
Yeah. Eric Gray is like my favorite sleeper in the entire class at running back too.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at Eric Gray yet.
I'm gonna take him probably.
He's a big. I remember he was a maybe 5-star recruit, or he was like a big LSU maybe.
Who did he go?
Ohio State maybe.
No,
I might be thinking of.
He transferred, right? Like
yeah.
I remember
thinking of.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up in a second.
It's gonna bother me.
Yeah, I think this area of the draft, like I said, the early 3rd. If you have a bunch of early 3rd, late 2nd round picks, Oklahoma, that's where he goes now though.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point.
Area of the draft
Abinaconda fits in there too, man. Like I was completely overlooking all these running backs like Chase Brown, Abinaconda, Vaughn, Roschon. By the way, I don't know if I'm butchering Abinaconda. Kenny Dwayne McBride,
I believe is how you say his name.
Like you should probably just close your eyes and grab one of these guys.
Yeah, put a dart board in front of you and just whatever it lands on, so be it.
Oh, Darnell Washington's pretty sweet.
I think Roschon's gonna go in the top 75 picks. I
wanted Roschon. I agree. I think Roschon would be, that low key, height, weight, speed, efficient running back. Obviously didn't get a ton of work working behind Bijan, but who the fuck else in this class would get a ton of work working behind Bijan if we're being real?
I think the transfer.
I think he's gonna go round 3, to be honest.
It's crazy, man. It's I mean, if he goes there, like I'll be interested, but it's like I don't know, man. If an NFL team takes Roschon Johnson over Sean Tucker, Tank Bigsby, Devin Achane, Zach Evans, Zach Charbonnet, and the sad truth is it's probably going to be over like 3 of those names, 4 of those names. I guess Bush, I imagine you haven't gotten that far in like your film stuff for running backs, but as like a Texas fan, like who is Roshan Johnson? Because I'm just looking at like bad numbers here, and I know he's a combine warrior, but like what does he look like on paper? I guess.
I mean, when I watch the games, he kind of like almost has like the Ramondre feel to him. Probably on paper, he kind of looks a little Ramondre as well because he didn't have that great of production. He's big. He can work on all three downs. And I think that if he tests well, he's going to be somebody that's definitely interesting because, he kind of checks every box aside from production at that point, right? So, I mean, it's hard to blame the guy for not getting any work in college when you're working behind Bijan Robinson. But anytime he came out on the field, and for what it's worth, the other guy that we have too, Keelan Robinson or whatever, also very efficient as a receiver. Anytime Bijan was taken out of the game, it's not like I was watching the games being like these other running backs suck. Like put Bijan back in. Like they all were able to contribute to a decent degree.
I still remember when we would watch before Brian Robinson became semi-decent in his last year of college. I remember the year before you just watched Alabama and you're like, who the fuck is this running back and why is he so goddamn bad? That's how bad Brian Robinson was a couple years ago. He was literally a meme.
He was awful that year, yeah.
He was a meme. All seriousness though, you did take Deuce Vaughn there. If I had to place a bet right now where Deuce would go, I actually do think Dallas day 3 makes a ton of sense. I know it's very narrative-y, but one of the head scouts of the Cowboys is actually Deuce Vaughn's father. So that would
is that true?
Yeah, it is true.
Is he also short as hell?
I'm not too sure.
Probably
Honestly,
has genetics from him. That's why he works in an office and not playing in the NFL. I'm going to grab Chase Brown here. This is so for what it's worth. I mean, I didn't intend to go 4 straight running backs, but I think this is how most of my rookie mocks are going to end up playing out. Number one, because most of the shells of the teams I built out are wide receiver, quarterback, and tight end centric already. And I have a lot of picks to fill out running backs, but also because I just think this running back class, while not very top heavy with Bijan or outside of Bijan and Gibbs, does have quite a few NFL caliber running backs, and it probably at least 8 to 10 names after those top 2 guys. So I'm probably going to just tie break, take if Chase Brown goes 5th round to some team in an ambiguous backfield, I'd rather take a shot on that in the 4th round than even like a 4th round, Nathaniel Dell from fucking Houston, who's like 5'7".
Damn it. I wanted Parker Washington.
I've been seeing so much senior bullshit about him.
I'll lock it in right now. Parker Washington's going to be a top 64 pick.
I'd be shocked if that happened.
Parker Washington kind of, when I was doing Debbie number stuff, like he popped through his first 2 years, and I was kind of in on him. Definitely, he's an early declare, I believe, right? Like pretty young. Did he just flop this last year? Was Penn State even any good this year?
No. They're
Who's their quarterback?
Yeah.
Is Clifford still there?
Penn State was a top 10 team, Bush. What do you mean?
Well, weren't they a good defense? Isn't that why they were a top 10 team?
I mean, they're
the Joey Porter kid?
Yeah. It would be awesome at 26 if he fell, by the way. Yeah, Parker Washington had a decent year. He got hurt, but when he played, he was good. Played him 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, he I wouldn't say he had a decent year. He had
he was kind of bad. I'm not gonna lie.
820 and 4.
I'm thinking about his second year, but like when he was playing with Boston.
Sophomore year, he had a much better year just on a per game basis, and then this year he was banged up and kind of got screwed by that. I mean, I'd have to watch his film to know if he's actually kind of worth a damn. But even like him, I mean, we're talking like really scraping the bottom of the barrel outside of the top 7 receivers or so. I'm not excited about anybody really.
All these wide receivers suck, man.
Top 64 might have been hyperbolic, but I definitely think he's going to be at least a 3rd round pick.
Yeah, I think you'd have to probably test pretty well.
Dude, I've seen buzz about this kid. I couldn't be less interested in Andre Lascivis.
Out of the receivers left, the ones that like speak out are probably like Puka Nacua, and I know Michael Wilson's been getting some hype at the Senior Bowl.
What about Michigan boy Ronnie Bell?
I think he's only a slot next level, to be honest.
Also, isn't he like 25?
Yeah, he's old. He's like 1998, I think.
Yeah, he's like my age. I feel like he's better. You know who's an interesting Ron? I got a name for you. Guy popping in my models here is Keaton Mitchell, East Carolina running back.
Keaton Mitchell? I've heard about Keaton Mitchell.
Keaton Mitchell, he's small. He's like 5'8", like 195 pounds, but he has got pretty good metrics in my models here because like he stands out like a good yards per route run, a good like tackles avoided per attempt. Kind of like he's kind of just like a pretty well-rounded back by the looks of it. I mean, he's playing subpar competition, but I wouldn't be shocked if like at the combine he has like a good day and moves off to like a Tariq Cohen type of range.
I've heard about
Ronnie
Keaton
Bell.
Mitchell.
Ronnie Bell's actually somehow a 2000, but he's been at Michigan since 2018. That's why he feels like he's so much older.
Yeah.
He's been at Michigan since 2018.
Yeah, that's wild.
What class was that? Like Donovan Peoples-Jones?
Bro.
He probably
I'm
showed
trying to
Nico
pull up-
Collins where his locker was.
I want
Like,
to pull up my
maybe that would
database
be-
real quick before we hop into another one real quick.
On
Feels
Keaton?
like it feels like CeeDee Lamb, bro.
Just so I can pull from it. I'm also curious to see what if Keaton's even in there. I believe he is.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
he
a
had
couple
40
running backs, dude. I can't even be bothered to freaking input until we get draft
Yeah,
capital.
I
dude.
know what you mean. I mean, 61st percentile target share according to like the calculation I did here. Yards after contact was pretty good for a small guy, 3.6 yards after contact. He was horrible in like protection, but aside from that, where's the defining trait? Okay, here. Sports
looks
Info
good, man.
Solutions, positive play percentage and like EPA per play. He was a top 5 back across the board in the class in terms of that kind of stuff. And his
He's an
PFF
early
rushing grade
declarer,
was
too.
93.9.
Really?
Yeah, his PFF rushing grade, if Corum would have been in this class, it would have been third highest, but his PFF rushing grade, I believe, was top 5 in the country.
Talking about Keaton Mitchell?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's interesting for sure.
He's
He's
hit my
definitely
thresholds across the board. It looks like he's hit my thresholds in rushing and receiving 2 out of 3 years.
Yeah,
And
and
it's good
career
that he's
rush
coming
yards
out
over
early.
expected 1.13, which is third behind only Dwayne McBride and Bijan Robinson in this class.
Looks
Solid.
like
So,
a dude.
he's a pretty talented rusher by the looks of it. Also, best season backfield dominator rating of 65% too. So he definitely was still like a relative workhorse in his backfield.
Broke out in just a second year out of high school too. He's interesting.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely like a 4th round dart throw for me. Like if I were drafting before the actual NFL draft, he'd be the type of guy I would throw a dart on. Like
With
35.09% tackles avoided per attempt was third in the class, only behind Roshan, Bijan, and Chris Rodriguez. Only behind Bijan with running backs on over a certain amount of touches.
Take this with a grain of salt because I mean anybody who's bronze is just bronze, but his profile 7th round bronze is ahead of Chase Brown 4th round, Tyjae Spears 5th round, Eric Gray 5th round. So I mean it kind of likes him in terms of just the numbers. So it depends where he goes or whatever, but he's interesting for sure. I'm gonna start up a new one. I'll send you guys a link
Sounds good.
in the do you guys have any closing thoughts? I actually wanted to ask you for a second, Danny.
Yeah.
I know Bush is a huge Jordan Addison guy.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on sort of like going Gibbs over Addison, Quentin Johnston?
They are all same tier for me. I just think at that point, the way I kind of saw it is realistically, if I was picking at the 105, I most likely would be wanting to fill out my running backs in my rookie draft, to be honest. And I view them pretty similar prospects in terms of what Gibbs is at the running back class compared to, Addison, Quentin Johnson, even JSN at the wide receiver position. So for me, if I know I mostly have rosters with CeeDee Lamb and, Garrett Wilson and, all these like stack receivers, that getting a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs, who I think can instantly be a top 5 to 8 dynasty running back, fits what I would want to build my team with personally. That's just a personal preference because I know realistically how I'm going to be attacking my rookie drafts. That's most likely how my rosters are going to be built.
100%.
Not to mention startup value probably favors Gibbs versus what's the best case scenario for Addison and JSN? Like 4th round startup picks? Like if Gibbs gets a decent landing spot, there's a good chance that he's like a mid-3rd, late-3rd type of pick if he goes high or whatever. It's possible that the market values him as a top 5 dynasty running back the second he gets drafted.
100%.
I think they
especially
will.
with like a sexy spot too. Sexy spot. If he goes
to
first
Philly
round
at 31 or something, like he's probably going to be the dynasty RB like 4 or 5.
Yeah, well, right now we're looking at it. Oh shoot, I misclicked. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. If we're looking at it, like he's gonna be ranked ahead of a guy like Javonte Williams. He's gonna be ranked ahead of a guy like DeAndre Swift. Sorry, I blanked for a second.
Yeah, definitely ahead of Swift.
Like realistically, the only guys that were, I would probably even rank him above like a Travis Etienne. So realistically, the only guys right now that you can say would be Bijan, Brees, JT, and Kenneth Walker. And even like a guy like Kenneth Walker, what's his receiving upside?
100%.
So it is an interesting area for sure.
To me, there's a clear top 4 in this class. I know I like Addison as my wide receiver 1. I like JSN as like a close wide receiver 2 behind him. I love, Michael Mayer at tight end. I like, some of the other running backs, Charbonnet and some of the other guys. And I like Quentin Johnson too. But to me, unless you get brutal draft capital out of Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm probably not pivoting away from Bijan, Young, Stroud, Gibbs is my top 4.
Yeah, no, that definitely is fair.
Bijan, Young, Stroud, Gibbs. Yeah, I agree.
By the way, I quickly want to address what's it called? Brock. Gibbs over ETN, no way. The difference is ETN would be what, 98 or 99? He's 99.
He's a 99.
And Jahmyr Gibbs would be a 2002. And if you're getting, a similar projection with them, which Travis Etienne is probably a fringe top 5
getting
running
a
back.
much better receiving I mean, Etienne's got a good receiving profile, but we've seen him now in the NFL not get receiving work, which is more important than
which
his
is scary
profile. Yeah.
Brock, I would honestly probably make a bet right now that post-draft, if he gets, adequate draft capital in a nice spot, Gibbs is going to be consensusly over a guy like Travis Etienne, given the age.
I do love ETN though, because
I do
100%.
think
From a redraft perspective, you're getting he should be like priority goal line work and a great offense. Like, if Ridley and all that stuff works out, like, I think he's gonna be a great spot there.
God, you picking 102
I just
again?
started her up.
Yeah,
Bush is up there in the top 4 again.
I got 111, so gross.
Oh, did you snake it this time?
Did I?
Snaked it.
Yeah, you did snake it.
Can I change it before?
Check.
Yeah,
there
you
go. Yeah, there you go.
The last one we're doing snake third round reversal, so just keep that in mind.
I think Gibbs will be over ETN, but I think I'm just playing the market right now. If you can tell me I can get ETN plus for Gibbs, sign me up. I just think the market's going to prefer Gibbs given the age.
Yeah, 100%. Like if Gibbs goes first round, like, I don't know. I loved ETN coming out. I still like ETN, but I mean, we're now headed into year 3. He doesn't have an RB1 season yet. And if Gibbs goes in round 1, then he's essentially the same profile 2 years earlier, and you don't have to deal with the plantar foot injury.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you just reset the clock, re-roll that into Gibbs?
Yeah.
And that's coming from 2 guys, me and Bush, who absolutely loved ETN coming out, in terms of grade, model, everything. Yep. ETN, passed with flying colors. But as much as I loved ETN, I think that he was pretty good this year. Didn't finish top 12, didn't really finish in the top 10 in target share. So it's really tough. He might just be a really good between the tackles rusher and kind of a 50 reception type guy. I don't know who that would kind of comp to, because he does have that breakaway speed, which is special.
Maybe. I don't know.
No.
I quickly want to address Brock. ETN was a very, very efficient rusher last year. The problem that I have with ETN and why I'm comparatively probably lower in terms of where I was at going into the year last year versus where I'm at now, simply put, is Travis Etienne did not get the receiving ceiling remotely what I thought he would. And, is that just a blip in the radar? Can he get back to, the receiving totals on a per touch basis, on a per snap basis that he was, even prior? Maybe, but if he's going to be, a 45, 50 target type of guy, I just want to re-roll that into a guy that could potentially get, 80 to 100 targets, maybe even 80 to 100 receptions with Gibbs. Especially in PPR.
I'm starting to get way more excited about this quarterback class because, maybe it's because I have so many 102s because I failed to tank for Bijan in so many leagues. But to me, I think somebody asked us in our YouTube comments, can we make a video talking about where we value the current 2023 rookies to where they would be amongst veterans? And to me, I said on when we were doing our live stream on our other channel, or on our channel, Bryce Young to me is right there with Dak Prescott as a borderline top 12 dynasty quarterback. And then CJ Stroud would be ahead of the Daniel Jones, Kenny Pickett type of guys for me, comfortably. I would right now, if you ask me, would I rather have Trey Lance or CJ Stroud? I think that it's extremely, extremely close. And given the risk with Trey Lance, I don't hate just re-rolling into a guy with much less risk, even though the ceiling is lower.
Yep.
It's tough. Ron, who are you taking right now if you had to decide, gun to your head, Trey Lance or CJ Stroud? Let's say CJ Stroud, we'll give him a landing spot in draft capital. He goes 4th overall to Indianapolis.
Damn, that's tough, dude.
Man,
I think Lance by a hair, man.
If you're in a startup right now?
Yeah.
If I'm going to start, I think I would take... I'm more scared of the risk of it not working than the upside of it working, which is maybe not the best strategy of drafting. I just think it's not we're not talking about a 50-50 here, 50-50 Trey Lance hits. I think it's it's like more of a 90th percentile outcome that he actually hits a ceiling rather than like a 50th percentile outcome. If that makes any sense.
It's
tough
tough
because I think Stroud will probably be preferred by the market though. Like I don't know on the clock in a startup at like 2-3 turn I would just straight up take Lance over Stroud. But in a vacuum of my rankings, I think I would prefer Lance just with Shanahan. Purdy hype has died down a ton. We are in year 3 now. We haven't seen really a ton.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
It is tough, honestly. And I mean, you kind of mentioned it in a vacuum. Sure, you can rank it a certain way, but realistically, if you're in a startup, like you're not going to be picking in places you have to make those tough decisions. Like you're going to be maneuvering the board. And for me personally, and that's kind of why I mentioned it when we did the startup mock over on our channel, is that I don't want to have to make the decision between Stroud versus Lance. I don't want to have to make the decision between Levis versus Daniel Jones versus Jared Goff versus Derek Carr. Like I don't want to make those decisions. I want to get my 2 elite quarterbacks, even if I have to trade up to do so, trade some mid-round picks, so fucking be it. I'll go with my Lamar Jackson and I'll go with my Kyler Murray, and then I'll figure the rest out. Those decisions at quarterback are the hardest ones to be able to make. Whereas if I trade, some receiver depth, some running back depth, I can replenish that in my rookie drafts, no issue. So I would rather
go cheap and go trade a late second for Ryan Tannehill if you're absolutely dying for quarterback production.
Like I genuinely feel like in startups, like after the top 15-ish, like once Bryce and those guys got off, like if you're high on like Tua and stuff, okay, but realistically, like the rounds 3 to 6 area in particular, the quarterbacks off the board, I'm just not fans of. I would rather wait till round 7, round 8, round 9, get, maybe Kirk Cousins falls, get, Ryan Tannehill who falls to like the 10th or 11th round in a startup. I would rather makeshift a quarterback core like that, or just flat out, like I said, go up and get those 2 elite guys and figure the rest out.
Apparently I'm the CJ Stroud truther now because I think he belongs in the late second, early third. And he's one of the last guys that I would consider as a viable QB2 long-term.
I would rather use him to leverage up to a stud though. Like,
I would too. Like anytime you tell me like I can walk out of a draft with Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray at the 1-2 turn or something like that, I would much rather have a team like that. But at the same time, if that's not possible, like I'm picked 101 or something like that, and I get to the 212 and CJ Stroud's on the board, I'm probably just going to pick him.
Yeah,
like, I would probably see, because I think in some leagues, a lot of leagues now, given like the pessimism on a guy like Lamar Jackson, I think CJ plus a 2024 first, and a lot of leagues can get you a guy like Lamar. And I'm just looking at that value bundle comparison of going up and getting an elite guy like Lamar versus just taking a guy I'm not overly enthused with. I would just rather go up and get the stud. Personally, and I think
Watson is also the guy that would make a ton of sense too. If you can get from Stroud to Watson, you might even be able to do that second. 1-for-1 in some leagues. Yeah. I actually think there's going to be leagues where people will value Stroud over Watson because Watson gets so much.
Would you move off a 103 for Watson straight up?
Easily.
Yes.
Heartbeat. Yeah, I think so too. I think that'll be on the table.
I do too. I think I've seen Watson go for Tyler much too. Less. For much less. People are trading 107 and like a 2023 or 2024 twos for him.
Yeah. By the way, it's a gross spot. I do think that if I'm looking at the receiver board, I do kind of prefer Rashee Rice to the rest, just based off what I'm seeing in terms of where he
future
should go.
Patriot Rashee Rice. We all know he's going second round to New England, right?
That would make a lot of sense.
That's just gonna happen because they always pick like horrible profile receivers.
By the way, Rob, I just want to address Rob. You said Daniel Jones will be valued over Trey Lance a year from now. I think they're quite literally on the market back to back.
I don't think that's a crazy take, man. I think the market value that Trey Lance holds now is extremely fragile. It's extremely fragile because all it takes is a couple bad games for him to absolutely plummet. And he could go up in value and he could become this like superstar or whatever. But like, how often do we see quarterbacks just like absolutely turn a light switch on like that? Like, I don't know.
Elon Fields this year. I mean, they were similar price.
It did come on with Fields this year, but even, man, it's just I find it difficult to believe that we're going to be just no questions asked. Trey Lance is like a top 10 startup pick this time next year.
I don't know about top 10, but like top 15. It's tough, man, because it's funny. The reason I had Fields over Lance is because I don't believe in like the Shanahan, it's not that I don't believe in the Shanahan stuff, but I hate putting stock in coaches and situation. I just want the guy who can ball. But it's like, man, Shanahan can make it work with Purdy, how he did. Like yes, he could fall off a cliff, but like I said, with like Lawrence and Fields, they used their mulligan that first year. If they sucked this year, they were going to plummet too. It feels, I mean, like he could probably string together like 3-4 games of like, quarterback 1 weeks, and you could maybe even cash out for like a top 15 price on Trey Lance. Like I feel like as volatile as he's definitely volatile, but I think he's volatile probably both ways, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, he is. It's the real life implications of what I'm worried about, because I don't know how much longer we can hold on to the fact that they used 3 first-round picks or whatever to trade up for the guy. If
it's a sunk cost,
Purdy is breathing down his neck and he gets healthy, right? Because the second that Lance gets like benched for Purdy, like where he's like the bottom falls out,
then it gets very, very ugly.
The thing with Trey Lance now, again, the reason why I would, be willing to buy more so on a team where I've stacked, 6 firsts in 2023, 4 in 2024, and I want to take a chance to buy low on a quarterback, I'd be willing to take the risk at that type of perspective. The problem that I find with the fantasy community is we always joke around, oh, you can't buy into sunk cost fallacy. You can't buy into sunk cost fallacy. And then people are like, well, the Niners gave up 3 firsts for Trey Lance. And it's like, well, that's a sunk cost that happened in 2020. You know what I mean? Like we can't have it both ways. You got to be on one end or you got to be on the other. And I feel like, that was a valid thing to say last year when we're going into the year, but we've kind of seen this year that the Niners rolled out Jimmy Garoppolo. The Niners rolled out Brock Purdy. The Niners called their offense. Realistically, you could put me in there and I'll fit like a glove, to be honest. So realistically, like if you want that type of ceiling for Trey Lance, you need them to be able to buy into them. And quite frankly, 3 years of what's gone on, you just don't know if there's that type of, loyalty, if you will, to a guy like that. So it's tough. Maybe the saving grace, obviously Brock Purdy's dealing with that, with the UCL injury, requires surgery. He's gone for a year.
I think that bought him a decent chunk of time.
Yeah.
Because now in
Jimmy's
training
gone.
camp and everything, he's the one. Jimmy's going to be gone.
Yeah.
He has to be an overwhelming favorite to start week 1 and get that runway until Purdy sort of shake things up if he comes back and Lance doesn't look great.
Yeah, no,
he's just I get back to Danny's point. I would just rather not have to make this decision and have 2 stud quarterbacks. Like
I was gonna say though, with what you said though, Bush, like sometimes you're in that spot and you're on the board and you can't move off it, and maybe you had the 101, you're sitting there at the 212. Like I think Stroud or Lance are like fine in that in between spot in terms of like, and it's probably a cherry picked example to talk Fields, Lawrence, but they were also guys where it's like they didn't feel great to take last year. They were like 3rd, 4th round guys in startups, but if you took them, like you made massive ROI on
or
both.
you took Zach Wilson.
Tua would have been the same example too, probably.
Yeah,
Tua probably got Tua.
Zach Wilson was probably a little bit
5.
later than Lawrence Fields.
He was going around round 4 area.
Yeah,
similar area. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he slides to round 5, round 6, in most people's leagues. I think because we were higher on him, some people take him higher.
That's fair.
And I think that's where like your Daniel Joneses will be like 5, 6. And I think Daniel Jones is cool, and I love Daniel Jones. He's my most drafted quarterback last year, but I can't.
Oh no, I wanted Musgrave there.
Musgrave's a good pick, man.
So Musgrave
he might go first round.
He's big, man. He's a big guy.
6'6", 250.
And he's probably going to run fast. So that's why everybody's kind of enamored with him.
Dude, I keep seeing mocks with like 3 tight ends in the first round. Like Mayer, Washington, Kincaid, Musgrave. These are all guys that I've seen go first round.
I think it was Zierlein's mock that had Musgrave going 15 to the Packers today.
Dude, it's insane. It's insane how disconnected the fantasy space is from the NFL draft space. Like NFL draft circles are talking about like 4 tight ends in the top 40 picks, and we're out here like Zach Evans is the RB2 in the class.
I mean, we were joking around earlier when we recorded, but Matt Miller had 6 tight ends in the first 2 rounds
and 2 running backs.
and Gibbs
fell to 55.
It's a great tight end class, man.
I don't know who to pick here. I think Raheem Jarrett's probably the best receiver on the board here.
Yeah, I kind of like Raheem Jarrett and Marvin Mims.
4-2. I'll take a 4-2
guys.
Raheem Jarrett.
Yeah.
I was eyeing down Marvin Mims when I was about to take Roshan Johnson. I was like, nah.
Yeah, dude, I wanted Roshan to fall back to me, so that was a good pick.
This receiver class is maybe the most shallow receiver class I've ever seen.
For sure.
After Boutte, Downs, Zay Flowers, Jalen Hyatt, like I really could care less. I might not spend earlier than a mid to late 3rd on any other receiver in this class. Like even Rashee Rice, even if Rashee Rice went like mid 2nd round, I probably wouldn't be enamored with taking him even over like, even if you give me a 4th round Sean Tucker versus like a mid 2nd round pick Rashee Rice, like I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's tough.
Dude, what if Tanner McKee goes top 50, dude?
God.
This quarterback class is even shallower than
Tanner McKee. Tanner McKee's just going to be like the Davis Mills of this class, where he starts a few games. Tucker Kraft's not bad.
Get yourself some Keaton Mitchell's on the board again.
We got Mo Ibrahim. He's like what, 26?
He's 25, and he tore his Achilles, and he's a 2-down back.
Chris Rodriguez is interesting. I mean, he's a little older too, but he's
a tone setter.
He's big and he's elusive.
Benny Snell?
Oh, yeah. No, he's actually more like a Cordero Patterson type is the way he kind of plays.
Hey, Ron, did I tell you about how we in our tone setters group chat we were just like messing around, and I guess like Benny Snell's been in that group chat, and then randomly he just fucking sends a message in there to go watch his Twitch stream.
The Benny Snell was
the Benny Snell. He just sends a message in the group chat. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh man.
I do love me some Benny Snell.
I kind of want to just sim to the combine, to be honest.
Facts.
As far like, I need to hear some more buzz about this running back class, or else the bottom is going to fall out of this this rookie class pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I'm dying to see the Lance grades, but I don't think anyone's going to grade well besides Bijan.
I mean, the running back class is good. There's guys that are good role players in the NFL. It's super deep. They're all talented, and I'm sure that we're going to get 2 or 3 guys that emerge as solid top 20 dynasty running backs. The question is like, do they?
How many of them would you take in the first of a rookie draft? That's really the question for me. And right now, it's only 2.
If you're a zero,
I think
RB,
I would take Charbonnet in the first because I see him routinely
first.
mocked in the 3rd round, sometimes 2nd.
If you're a 0 RB, bro, and you have a bunch of 2nd and 3rd round picks compiled over the years because you're just like, yeah, let me just, sell off, James Conner types, and, maybe Dalvin at one point got you 1st and a 2nd, and you just stockpiled all those picks, man. Like, you're just taking straight dart throws. Because honestly, I would bet that at least 2 of the guys picked in the 2nd, 3rd round area are going to emerge as at least starting, if not lead committee type of backs, maybe 3.
Yeah, I bet we're going to get a bunch of Dameon Pierce, Tyler Algiers out of this class. Like that we're not expecting to, like, there's going to be a couple guys that we're not expecting, like maybe they're mid-2nd round rookie picks or whatever come like rookie draft season, but they emerge as like solid pros.
Yeah, no, for sure. You guys thinking another, or what you thinking, Ron?
Yeah, let's send one more 3rd round reversal snake just for the just for the real ones out there. For real. And then we'll head out of here and ride off into the sunset. All right, hold on.
Lads are buzzing.
Let's see what I can do here. I'm going to send the link in the private chat. But I will say, after seeing these draft boards, like I 100% agree with you. Like, it's a super, super deep class. Like, even into the early 3rd, I'm glad to take a lot of these running backs. But it is just the 1st round where it's like we need some of these top-end talents. Like, dude, I was looking back. Dude, 2 of the craziest draft classes ever. Of course, 2017 is up there. But there's a running back draft class, dude. What the hell is it? It's like maybe with like Matt Forte, Chris Johnson, like Felix Jones. Like, there's a draft. I know this is like pretty random. Of course, we're not in the era anymore. Where McFadden went 1st round, Chris Johnson went 1st round, Jonathan Stewart, Rashard Mendenhall, Felix Jones. That is 5 first-round running backs.
The only comp would be 2017, right?
Yeah, the only comp. And then
that
in the
was
2nd round, you
3 or 4?
get Ray Rice, you get Matt Forte, you get Jamal Charles in the 3rd. It's an insane class. Even like Steve Slayton wasn't bad.
Dude, the fact that Arkansas had 2 separate running backs going in the 1st round in that year was pretty hilarious. Talking about 2008, right?
Yeah, 2008
with Felix and Darren.
Yeah, nothing beats Auburn with 2 top 5 picks at running back.
How does that happen? I'm sorry.
Nothing beats.
You're an NFL team. How are you taking a running back that was not the workhorse on his own team? Like that baffles me to me.
Who are these 2 Auburn guys? I feel like is it Cadillac Williams?
Cadillac Williams and
who's the other one?
Danny, I sent the link in the private chat.
Oh, my bad. I didn't even notice. That's
all
on
good.
Me. Joining now. Let's see. What's going to give me
the backup to Cadillac Williams, and who drafted him?
I regret to inform you that was my Tampa Bay Buccaneers when Aaron Rodgers was on the board.
Yep.
And we had, I believe, Jeff Garcia that year before. And we definitely
my mouse is actually broken.
It was Ronnie Brown went second overall.
Ronnie, that's it.
I love Ronnie Brown, dude.
Ronnie Brown.
The years with the Dolphins going Wildcat with Ricky Williams.
Don't sleep on that Wildcat, baby.
That was electric, dude.
What an awful draft class.
Did Ronnie Brown go ahead of Cadillac Williams in that draft?
Yeah, he did. He wasn't even the workhorse. It would be like if Sony Michel and Nick Chubb went 2nd and 5th overall, and Sony Michel went 2.
Dude, the funniest thing, well, I mean, he did go before Nick Chubb, which is pretty hilarious.
For what it's worth, Cadillac was like actually gross. He just got injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, by the way,
Jets legend in that draft class.
Yeah.
I think it was Kev that tweeted this, but or somebody tweeted this, but like, who were your like 2 favorite offensive players when you were 10 years old or whatever? And I remember I quote tweeted it with Tony Romo and with Adrian Peterson, right? And it was just funny to me because Kev is like, oh, LT and Randall Cunningham or whatever it was, right? Or Dante Culpepper. And I was like, yeah, when LaDainian Tomlinson ran in 28 touchdowns in 06, I was 6 years old. And he's like, that's fucking gross. It's pretty remarkable, man. You bring up like how long ago some of the stuff that you remember actually was. It's pretty crazy. Like you got an extensive football like history. You know what I mean?
Like, dude, my goal is when I'm like old and decrepit and in a retirement home, I want to be a legit football historian, bro. I want to tell you about pre-Super Bowl shit. I'm already starting to build my Jets history base. I already Weeb Eubank, the coach for the Jets when they won the Super Bowl. I'm trying to get some of that. I want to know it all because there is some crazy shit, dude. Like if you can like find just like random Wikipedia pages of guys who like balled out for 4 years between like World War I and World War II, and like you would never know who the hell they are, what they did. They played a position we never heard of, but it is super interesting.
Me and Bush would be the type of sickos. We've had calls before with a couple of the lads where we'll go through like old historic like Sporkle quizzes of NFL and get like 98% on them.
Yeah,
like it's crazy.
I'm a sicko when it comes to football history, dude. Like Ron, I know that like Sonny Weebler was your owner when the Jets like started in the AFL, and he paid Joe Namath like the most expensive contract that's ever been given to a pro athlete and stuff. Like all the merger, like crazy, right? Huh?
It was the merger, right? Where like
no, the NFL, I believe it was St. Louis Cardinals at the time. Yeah, they drafted Joe Namath, and the Jets wanted to hold, the rights to Joe Namath, so they backed him up like a $400K Brinks truck, which at that time was like the dumbest number in history.
Dude, you era just $400K in the 70s, dude, and that's probably crazy cash.
All I'm gonna say is I see Derek's comment below. My first redraft was in 1989.
No, Derek's an OG, man. Derek's an OG.
Hey, I was just gonna say, imagine you were that year and you had like, keep in mind, like we're talking about boomers now. Imagine back then, like you're talking about like my grandpa and stuff that were probably like, oh, you can't take rookies like early in your drafts and then just passing on Barry Sanders, rookie Barry Sanders that year. Imagine you had a rookie draft and people were like, their first ever dynasty pick was freaking Barry Sanders. That's remarkable.
Dynasty definitely wasn't played back then. I mean, maybe
Henry in our audience said his first rookie pick was Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, yeah.
Yeah,
that's.
I was also gonna say the reason I even know like the Namath contract or why that rings a bell. Where I get most of my Jets history, I did like a book report on like. It was like a Namath autobiography in like 5th grade. It was like one of those, like, you ever seen the ones with like the big head caricatures of like the Beatles and stuff, like how the Beatles, whatever. It was something about Namath or the New York Jets, and it was great. It was like the history of the Jets, the history of him like playing at Alabama as like, a young boy. I think that he might have even had like a pretty brutal leg injury at Bama, but I can't remember.
An awful knee injury at Alabama. Yeah, dude. He tore his ACL at Alabama, and they didn't have the technology or the knowledge of that injury to be able to fix it, and he essentially played on one leg like most of his career because he never actually got it fixed properly.
Namath, right? Yeah.
I was going to ask why you have the jersey, Bush. Are you just a Namath fan? Because I feel like
I just love Joe Namath.
He gets slandered so much because like his stats aren't anything crazy. But it's
most people that watched him play were like, you never saw a healthy Joe Namath. Like he actually was never healthy his whole career.
Was it Billy Sims? Because I remember it was before Barry. Was it Billy Sims who like had one of the best starts a running back could possibly have, and then tore his ACL, and they literally didn't have the technology to fully fix it back then?
Yeah, dude. And
Am I not in
Kijana
this
Carter
draft?
had one of the best prospect profiles you'll ever see too, and he blew his ACL in his first preseason game with the Bengals in '95.
Dude, I don't think I'm in this mock, guys.
Wait, what?
Hold
If you
on.
want,
you not?
I can hop out of it, and you can hop in.
Yeah,
and
we could pick
me and Danny
together.
will draft
Can
one
you even
team.
do that? Yeah, kick him.
I don't think I can kick anybody.
Pause the draft.
I can leave draft if you just hop in there.
Yeah.
All right, geez, this is we were talking and I completely forgot.
Completely
Linear, give me third round reversal. Where the hell is third round reversal?
It's lower. Ron.
I don't think it's even in here.
You should probably join the draft first before you do anything.
It's lower. It's lower. It's the bar. It's the bar.
No. Hold on. I don't think I can even join, fellas. I think we just got to scrap this. I truly hate to say it.
Two people just left.
I know, but I don't. It's not letting
It's
me.
not
It's not letting me
letting
join.
Just make another one. We got it.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good.
We're just objectively selling right now.
Yeah. Jeez. I'll have my editor take that out.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
All right. There's a third round reversal. All right.
Oh god. All right.
Yeah. Jeez. I didn't even hop in myself.
Okay.
I'm over here telling Danny, hey, Danny, make sure you join up. Fucking idiot, dude.
You know what sucks about that too is because I didn't realize you weren't in, and you're like, oh, we need one spot, so I just threw it in the fucking Discord. I'm like, whoever joins, right?
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, no, that's great.
But
yeah, dude, Namath gets so much disrespect, dude. He played in an era like I get that like his touchdown interception ratio is whatever, but he played in an era where it was insane to pass as much as he did. Like some years when he was a passing leader, he like outpassed the next guy by like 1,000 yards, dude. Like,
yeah,
he was so ahead of his time. Like these guys, like there was no such thing as like a air raid high flying offense. Like, I don't know. He was great. He was great.
I think if he would have played in Air Coryell's system in Los Angeles, I mean, he actually eventually went to the Chargers, I'm pretty sure. Or no, that was the Rams that he went to. But if he would play with the Chargers in Dan Fouts' like era, he probably would have been unbelievable.
Yeah. He played when people still referred to it as a forward pass. Oh, jeez. That's crazy.
Also, dude, guaranteeing a win as an 18-point underdog, dude. He put the AFC on the map, dude. Before dude,
he was Joe Burrow before Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he was Joe Burrow before Joe Burrow. He had all the swag in the world, dude. He played against the Colts, who I believe had like Shula, like an all-time great coach. They were like 18-point dogs. NFC was stomping the hell out of
Bill Belichick was the linebackers coach of that team, wasn't he?
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that
no, he was a kid. He was a kid. Never mind. He was like the ball
kid.
boy. Yeah, he was a kid. He was like the ball boy of that team, actually.
Crazy. Yeah. Oh shit.
Oh my
God. I hit my mic. Sorry, y'all. Bijan.
Namath's the best though, man.
Hell, this one booted me. What the hell?
It booted you?
It's fine. Well,
you can pick through me. I mean,
yeah,
do you have any
I would have went
to
in a different direction at 101 there. Sorry,
dude. You would have went with Will Levis, right?
What are your thoughts on this whole Chargers situation? Like, because I've seen like the speculation that Keenan Allen could be cut or whatever. If JSN or Jordan Addison goes to the Chargers and Keenan Allen is cut, I think Marvin said if Jackson Smith-Njigba goes to the Chargers, would you draft him 103 over any other prospect? And Keenan Allen was cut, kind of thing.
Quarterback.
Yeah, to me, I can't think of over Stroud or Young. But
there.
Yeah.
I guess it would depend on what's going on with Gibbs, but
right.
I don't know. I have a tough time with that. I know a lot of people say like I want to wait till landing spot and stuff. Like I do sort of like I don't love leaning on landing spot. I think that got me in trouble last year with Sky Moore.
Yeah. Fuck. I mean, he had a good
I like Sky's profile though. He was like wide receiver 6.
He was a beautiful profile, man.
He had a great profile. He got day 2 capital, mid-second round.
He had good film too.
Really good film. Graded really well in reception perception. Like there weren't many holes in his profile.
I'd honestly bet on his profile 9 out of 10, like 10 out of 10 times again. I feel like his profile hits most of the time.
I would too. Yeah. Like it's just. You kind of hit the nuts. The problem is that he went to such a high profile landing spot, and he was a guy you probably liked at the start of the second round that got pushed up to like the 107 in some leagues because he was a Chief. That would be the only qualm with it. But like other than that, like that's the profile you want to take on the 1-2 turn, I would say. It's just he was going a little higher than that.
Yeah, people took him over Chris Olave and
yeah, that was too much.
Like even Jahan Dotson and Christian Watson and stuff and George Pickens that hasn't aged well. But
I mean,
people taking him over
Olave,
Olave especially, that was the egregious one.
Olave was the bad one, but I mean, I would take him knowing profiles like now versus then. I still would have taken him over Watson. I still would have taken him over Pickens. I still would have taken him over like those guys.
Dotson, even. I still took him over
at the
Dotson.
time.
Over Dotson.
At the time, absolutely. Yeah, Dotson as well, absolutely. So it's like, yeah, like it sucks what happened with him, but is there really any translatable thing to take away from it? I don't really think so.
I mean, Rob says this guy's the reason I'll never draft a group of 5 receiver again. I mean, yeah, small school does play a part of it for sure.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, the guy had a bulletproof group of 5 profile, man. Like it was as good as you're ever going to see out of that conference.
I can't believe I went to go clap and I smacked my mic back.
I still think there's hope. I still think there's still slight hope.
Target per route run is the only thing we can cling to.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, he made a great play in the conference game. The punt return there.
Michael?
Mayer, dude, easily. Come on now.
Yeah, Mayer anytime in the second is beautiful.
Yeah, I can't. So I think the Mayer window of people thinking he's not that good is going to close the second he tests.
Well,
I think he's going to
like
test closer to Mark Andrews than TJ Hawkinson.
What are you thinking, like 4.61?
I don't know. I haven't actually watched his film yet. I got to still break it down, but I would say low 4.6s is probably what I would expect him to run based on what I've seen from him so far.
Definitely makes sense. I love
a first-round pick who runs 4.6s at 245 pounds, as productive as Michael Mayer was. Age-adjusted, got better every single year, like 30% target share.
The age-adjusted production is ridiculous with Mayer, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. Quickly, Jeremiah asked, in one quarterback, how far down will the quarterbacks go? I would say you can pretty much replace their spots into the second round, and you would maybe have Anthony Richardson higher, since obviously the long-term appeal doesn't matter as much in a one quarterback, and you're just kind of swinging for difference makers. That would be really the only difference, I would say.
I would still not change the order of the quarterbacks, even though
I don't know.
I think Bryce would be a late first for me in a one quarterback format.
Yeah, late first, early second. Like I think you would be arguing him with the Charbonnet, the Downs, the Mayer, Flowers type of area. I would probably say.
Yeah,
quarterback.
Yeah, if you guys are in one quarterback leagues, if you have the 105 to 107, like you got fucked. Not gonna lie, like this class really screwed you, especially in one quarterback formats, because at least in Superflex we have the saving grace that like I'll take a shot on Will Levis, I'll take a shot on Anthony Richardson because they're first round projected drafted quarterbacks. But in one quarterback leagues, man, if you miss out on the top 3 receivers, even 2 to some degree, and the top 2 running backs, like you're gonna be drafting fucking Josh Downs at like 107. Like it's gonna be.
I just wanted to show how ridiculous Mayer's production is, dude. Like you can put it up against any tight end that's gone first round in the past like 10 years or whatever, dude. Crazy. Like it's not even close, man.
Dude.
But if you put Brock Bowers in there,
how was Pitts so low? Sorry.
Pitts is? Dude, Pitts is like production profile.
Pitts' market share production wasn't that good because Trask was so productive.
Right. Yeah, they had a lot of yards. That's why.
If you do receiving yard per team pass attempt, Pitts rises up if you do per pass attempt. But even there, I mean, Mayer's like he's right on par. I mean, he's not going to be the same athlete that Pitts is, obviously, but
and I would assume that the difference for Bowers, because he technically like had similar production, is just that the Georgia offense as a passing unit was just more productive.
Something I want to test. I'm going to test in the tight end model or just like across. I haven't used like points per game, but I've heard it's like a decent. I mean, like Pitts,
there it is.
Pitts goes crazy, and it's like just PPR points per game. I want to mess around with it a little bit because I mean, like it is what we're solving for. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Nobody ever uses actual fantasy points sometimes.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, because that's probably where that probably is what Pitts should look like.
Yeah,
considering he's the highest drafted tight end ever.
Where do you think Brock, you can't be auto picking, especially not Cedric Tillman. I'm fucking with you. Rashee Rice good with you, or do you want to look at a running back here?
I see. To me, I would just rather take a shot on Roschon or Deuce Vaughn or Chase Brown or Dwayne McBride or Eric Gray over Rashee Rice. I'm not a huge fan.
I don't mind that. I'll take Roschon.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is like you talk about the numbers with Michael Mayer, and you get into his his like PFF receiving grades are also just like elite across the board. Like every year of his college career, they've been elite.
Yeah, like you can you're good, Brock. I was just messing with you. I see he's distracted by work.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting with Mayer, right? Because I feel like, and I've been victim to it too. I feel like people are so enamored about what Brock Bowers could be next year that we're kind of just saying, yeah, I guess I'll take Mayer if he falls. I'm not really excited because, there's a guy coming next year that's supposed to be better. But I mean, like if you take Mayer and he gives you 750 yards and 7 touchdowns as a rookie, he's going to be valued as the tight end 3 in Dynasty.
That's a great. I mean, Dolchich is already like a top 8 guy, and he didn't blow anyone's socks off, and he had day 2 capital.
Yeah, no, there's not much I would change about Mayer's profile, man. Like he went from like PFF receiving grade 70 or so as a freshman, sharing the field with Cole Kmet, really productive from that perspective. Second year, he's like a top 20 graded PFF receiving tight end in the country. And then this year, he's the highest grade or the second highest graded tight end in the country behind Dalton Kincaid. I think he might, if you exclude the bowl game or the postseason or whatever, I think he's the highest. And he had like 2.4 yards per route run at tight end, which is like a pretty stupid number.
Bush, who was that tight end that played at BYU with fucking Zach Wilson? I'm trying to remember. I just remember that guy was one of the most productive tight ends I've ever seen.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Matt Bushman. He was like 26 coming out.
He was actually good though. Not even gonna lie, he actually was good. He was just like extremely old.
Yeah, he was like.
Milne.
Let me see, dude. Yeah. He's 27. Right, he's like Mark Andrews' age right now, bro.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good BYU team.
Oh yeah,
Walter Christensen might have been on there.
Could be hugely valued or hugely undervalued in rookie drafts as well. Because this guy literally 91.7 PFF receiving grade, 2.42 yards per route run, only behind Michael Mayer this year. 890 yards, 8 touchdowns on 93 targets. Like he was extremely productive at Utah.
I just want to mention that, dude. It's pretty remarkable that in his rookie season, within the first 5 weeks of his rookie season, this guy was 26 years old.
Dumb.
My God.
I'm gonna plug these tight ends into my tight end prospect model, my brand new shiny tight end prospect model, and they're gonna blow me away. I'm gonna just be the tight end guy. Okay.
Musgrave's production's pretty ass. I'm not gonna lie. So he's probably not gonna blow you away.
I think athletic scores is gonna be a massive weight compared to.
No, it definitely will be. I just mean like from
all that really capital.
You don't have it until the combine. I'm assuming unless you're projecting it.
Yeah. By the way,
it probably will be done like right when the combine starts.
Right.
So Rob mentioned Brandon Weeden. Yeah, dude, Brandon Weeden. I still don't understand how you could take a quarterback that old in the first round. Like he was 28 when he came out.
Dude, that's some like Billy Madison dodgeball against the first grader shit.
No.
Dude, that's the type of shit Brandon Weeden was doing.
It was so easy to
similar one, man.
I mean, yeah, he was 24.
They took him over Mark Andrews in the first round.
Hayden Hurst was 24 when he came out?
Might have been 24, 25.
And he played minor league ball.
Yeah, he played like baseball and got the yips or something, right?
Jesus. Yeah, he was
played
25.
baseball, got the yips, and it was like, all right, we're playing football.
Okay, he was like the definition of an anti-analytics pick because like in the Moneyball draft room, they were like, he got the yips, no confidence, can't draft him.
And they end up with Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson in that draft.
You want to run it back, correctly. By the way?
Pretty crazy.
Dwayne McBride?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm telling you right now, Dwayne McBride, yards created, when yards created comes out, Dwayne McBride is probably going to be a top 5 running back in the class in yards created.
I'd like to see Roschon Johnson's too, because that'd be interesting to kind of see on a per play and almost compare that to Bijan too. And just
for what it's worth, in my model here, let me pull it up. In the draft class database, let me go to Roschon Johnson. I know he rates like pretty much high across the board in mostly everything, which is what kind of brought his name to my attention right away. He's 3rd in the class, broken tackles plus missed tackles percentage, according to Sports Info Solutions. And he's great. 1st in the class, tackles avoided per attempt by PFF, 46.3% of his total attempts he was avoiding a tackle, which Bijan like literally busted the model for. And obviously Roschon didn't have that many touches, so it's kind of like take it with a grain of salt. It's actually the dumbest thing I've ever seen that Bijan posted 41% tackles avoided per attempt on the amount of touches he had.
Yeah,
that's actually insane. The dumbest number I've ever seen.
I was watching a couple games. Like the guy's a literal alien.
He's an alien, dude. 90.
I like Zeke.
I think he's like a Dalvin Cookie Saquon.
I like Zeke. Todd Gurley. That's how this number spot.
Zeke
and I've watched barely any Bijan.
I like
Yeah,
Zeke.
I mean,
Like, Zeke-
realistically, I don't even want to do a tail of the tape on the guy. Like, I'm
There's
going
no
to have
point.
to.
No,
But
do it.
I don't even want
You
to
could.
because it's like this guy's just a freak.
What if he runs like a 4.6
He's
or a
not going to.
4.55?
If then I would
Like-
just assume he's hurt. Like, to be
I would
honest,
say if he ran, let's say like he runs like something believable, like 4.54 or something, or 4.58 maybe.
4.58. I like that number.
4.58. He runs a 4.58. He probably gets nailed a little bit draft capital wise to like the late first rather than like the early first, where sometimes and another thing I've noticed with like NFL draft scouts versus like fantasy people is when anytime a fantasy person does a mock draft, they'll have him falling to like the end of the end of the first round. Anytime an NFL draft scout does a mock draft, he's like a top 15 pick.
Yeah. No, it's funny with him. By the way, side note, I when I was watching him, I'm like, okay, this guy's probably gonna be a mid 4.4 type of guy. Just
Yeah,
the
it's
way
I'd
he
expect
runs.
him to run like 4.47 or something like that.
Well, that's why it's funny because my comp for him being Zeke ran a laser timed 4.47 official time.
Yeah.
So like that'd be pretty
He
funny.
can
if they
It's
both
hard to
ran.
imagine a 4.47
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott at this point.
Oh, now he runs like a 4.74.
I would have guessed like 4.5, like low 4.5s for Zeke.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
4.47 official. But the craziest thing was when Derrick Henry ran a 4.53 at 247 pounds at the combine. 4.53, 247 pounds, 6'3" back.
And you decided to spend the top 5 pick on Zeke instead of wait for Derrick Henry in the second. Could have had Jalen Ramsey, dude. I love that Cowboys like almost like a meme at this point. Dude, it could have been Ramsey and Derrick Henry.
Genuinely,
would you guys go Jalen Smith?
Jalen
Smith and Zeke.
I'm telling you right now. So after the rookie season, people are like, "Oh my god, the Cowboys smashed this draft." Genuinely speaking, right now, if you take Dak Prescott out of that draft class, it may be one of the worst drafts I've ever seen. Genuinely. It's awful. Other than Dak Prescott in the fourth round, which is
you paid Jalen Smith a second contract. He couldn't have been that.
And then cut him.
Yeah.
Remember
when you told me that he was better than
Jalen
Levante
Smith?
David?
Hmm?
Remember when you told me Jalen Smith was better than Levante David?
I never said that. I said Jalen and Leighton was the best LB core in 2018.
Oh right, yeah. And I was like, it's not better than Levante.
I said in 2018 they were.
And then we won the Super Bowl, and your guys got cut. That was funny.
Yeah. In 2018 they were though. I'm not being hyperbolic there. After that, it went ever downhill.
Rob said Bijan's a 4.5 back. The way that they're juicing these freaking tracks in Indianapolis, I think it's more likely that Bijan cracks 4.3s than he does run slow.
If he cracks, dude, he cracks 4.3.
He won't. I don't think he will, but I think just the way.
I will salivate.
Like, do you guys not remember last year at the combine? We're like, how the hell did Garrett Wilson run a 4.38?
Well, it was the same thing with Chase, bro.
Walker
I remember
and Brees broke 4.4.
Well, Chase ran what?
We didn't buy it. We were like, I don't buy this.
Well, Chase did pro day. I think that Chase ran at the pro day, and that's why his.
Chase ran what? 4.39.
I think that was a pro day though.
Like
LSU pro day, they were all juiced. Like Terrace Marshall ran crazy.
I remember the craziest one was when Justin Jefferson ran like 4.43, and people expected him to run 4.6.
That was the most underreported combine winner of all time that year because everyone was like freaking out about Ruggs running a 4.27 and all the other stuff that happened at that combine. I think that's gonna be the same with Addison. I think Addison will just like low key run 4.37 and nobody's.
Olave ran fast too, man. Olave and Wilson, they both broke 4.4 maybe, right?
Yeah.
But Ron, still one of the freakiest things you'll see is Micah Parsons at 245 pounds running a 4.36. He ran 4.36.
That was a pro day 4.36. Get out of here.
4.36 at 245.
Devin White ran a 4.42 at the same, a little bit smaller.
Yeah, pro days are wonky, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude, Najee Harris ran like a 4.4 at his Alabama pro day. Is like
no way. He ran like 4.58. I thought.
Didn't
no,
he?
he didn't.
I don't think that they had a pro day, dude. I think that he ran at like a pro day, like at like his junior year or something like that.
Yeah, because they ran at the previous pro day. I'm pretty sure because the Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, and Najee Harris. I'm pretty sure none of them tested.
Yeah, none of the Bama guys wanted to test.
Yeah, which is dumb because I wanted to see how fast Waddle was. To be honest, that year I was mad. I was like, I wanted to see if Waddle was.
Waddle's a guy who per game numbers. That last year we had like the first 6 games with Devonta Smith. His per game numbers look great now after I adjusted him.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's something that we need to take into account with receivers, especially because if you get per game numbers, I'm not trying to completely work this into like the databases, but even games where they're like dealing with injury, I think is important to look at.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
for Addison this year and stuff. where he dealt with injury down the back half, and like QJ apparently dealt with something down the back half of the season as well. I think it'd be interesting to know. Like, obviously, you can't go back and readjust every single receiver in your database to that, but it's just interesting for added context if you just look at those games to see how productive they can be at their like full height.
By the way, Chris is bringing it up in the chat, but people are you remember when Kyle Hamilton got dinged because he ran like a 4.7 40, but when you actually watched him run the 40, it was like the most jangled looking 40 you've ever seen. Like the guy was like going side to side and everything and looking at a diagonal and everything.
Yeah, that was a weird 40, man. We all expected that guy to test super well, and then he just ran like a 4.7. That was super weird.
Don't kill me.
All right, fellas. Do we have any closing thoughts on our last draft here before we get out of here? I feel like I drafted
running
the same
backs
team
in the second and third
times.
rounds.
Yeah.
I think I legitimately think of the 24 picks in rounds 2 and 3 of rookie drafts, like 16 should be running backs, like 17. I think just that's the way the class kind of is shaping up. Like the wide receivers, once Hyatt's off the board, I could care less who else is there. Hendon Hooker, I'm just gonna let one of my league mates draft him. And then the tight ends, maybe they mix into like the second and third round area, and that's pretty much all I'm interested in.
Yeah, I'll like Washington as we get closer.
Washington's tough, man, because he's not your like fantasy tight end because he's like so heralded for like his blocking ability.
But like, what if he runs like 4.6 at fucking 275 pounds?
It'll be pretty crazy. I still think usage wise, he's not going to be like the type of guy that people move around their formations and shit, though.
I mean, could he be like a seam buster for the Chargers? That'd be pretty hot. Could he be a seam buster for the Bengals? Like
maybe, yeah.
You don't need a whole lot of volume from him.
I just want Mayer to go to the Bengals. Like, I hope everybody overthinks Mayer and takes like Kincaid over him or some shit.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Late 20s Mayer to the Bengals.
Yeah.
But all right, man. I appreciate you guys coming on.
Anytime, bro.
I think me and Danny were talking once the big board comes out, we'll link up for another one, do a little home and home, draft some on the big board, see where these rookies are going in those drafts. As always, if you're new to Underdog, slight shout out there. Promo code Ron will match your deposit all the way up to $100. I have a link in the description down below. But again, I appreciate these guys coming out. Dynasty is a very fun time of the season. I'm about to eat dinner and get right back to the spreadsheets. But yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on. You guys have anything to give to the people before I end this broadcast?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are looking for in-depth like film grades, because I know Ron's more of a numbers guy, and you want to check out some stuff that we're doing, our Patreon, we launch like, I don't know, give or take 3-4 player cards a week over there, grading these players from a film perspective. I think I've got like 6 or 7 guys graded at the moment, and I'm still working through running backs like fast and furious. I'm also writing write-ups for BDG's draft guide, so that's why I'm kind of moving at a snail's pace at the moment. But once I'm done helping him out, then I should be, just flying through these by the time we get to the combine. I'm hoping to have like 20, 25 of those done.
You were watching him in Mexico. I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I saw, like, we were talking about Stroud, and I was like, wait, you're on vacation right now and you're looking at Stroud tape.
Yeah, I mean, well, so in the afternoon in Mexico, it was like super, super hot. And at like 2:00, we would be at the beach all morning. So, and my girlfriend would be like taking a nap or whatever. So I'm like, I'll just, watch some tape because I physically am not capable of napping during the day usually. So
100%. You got anything, Danny, or?
Not much, honestly. Just gonna eat some food. Watch. Hopefully, my Lakers take a nice dub tonight, and hopefully they can make a move for Mr. Fred VanVleet from the Raptors. That'd be pretty nice.
All right. Well, that's enough of that. I appreciate you guys coming out. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, it's been a blast. We're out.